Valparaiso University football is underwritten by the following. Valparaiso Orthopedic Clinic for treatment of sports injuries and orthopedic surgery. Doctors Malater, Leland, Toma, Luker, Gruska, and Kay use the latest in equipment and techniques to ensure a quick and thorough recovery. Valparaiso Orthopedic Clinic with over 20 years of service. Locations in Valparaiso, Chesterton, and Portage. Costas Foods and the following suppliers: Jack's Pizza, Coca-Cola, Arizona Tea, Frito-Lay, Pepsi Bottling Company, and Jay's Chips. Costas Foods, locally owned and serving you at 2800 Calumet, Valparaiso, 801 Broadway, Chesterton, and U.S. Highway 6, South Haven. Costas Foods, where shopping is a pleasure.
And by the financial support of viewers like you.
Hello everybody and welcome to Valparaiso University football. Along with head coach Tom Horne, this is Todd Eichow. Today we take a look back at Saturday's heartbreaking loss to Evansville. We'll welcome in standout defensive tackle, the former Whiting Oiler, Eric Miller. And we'll preview Saturday's upcoming ball game against the University of Dayton. First though, we visit with head coach Tom Horne. And coach, it's been a crazy year and another crazy ball game. Once again, you outgain your opponent, you throw for 360 yards, and somehow you only end up with 6 points, and you end up with a loss. I know, very disappointing.
Oh, very disappointing for myself and our players and our coaching staff. We just missed on a lot of opportunities. We'll see some of them in the film. You've seen the entire game film, and 4 or 5 touchdown passes just fell out of Mike Tolbert's and Scott Heinrich's reach, and we were very close at times and just didn't quite get it done.
Okay, it was an exciting ball game, some quality defense played by the Crusaders. We'll check the highlights, and we'll see the VU defense played well all game long and limited an Evansville offense to only 210 yards.
Yeah, outstanding job. Eric Fish, the premier returning throwing quarterback in the conference, gets held to 112 yards passing, which is, I think, maybe a career low for him. So our defense certainly gets a lot of accolades for that.
They tried to run the ball and really never did get much going. We see a good play by Matt Culp and Eric Miller get involved on the first play of the game. That was Carnes. And then we're going to see Eric Miller with a sack on the second play of the game. See the good pressure by John Harrington, who really was after Fish all game long.
Yeah, Harrington put a lot of good pressure on. Culpe did before he got injured, and then Eric as well, and John Wrench. Outstanding job up front of pressuring the quarterback.
Came out on your first series and you ran the option. Unfortunately, this was a rare successful option play. They did a much better job this year fencing the option than they did last year.
Yeah, they started the game in a kind of a zone vanilla defense, and then they went up to a high pressure defense, which you'll see probably in the rest of the tape.
Second series, 3rd and 2, the draw to Carnes, and Eric Miller's waiting. We'll see that play later on in the show, but again, your defense did a great job. We see on the option, excellent defensive play here. They try to lateral it back to Fish, and really Adam Zolvinsky stopped the whole play, and then everybody else got in on the act.
Yeah, I never perceived Eric Fish as being an option quarterback, so that was a new one for us.
So they throw a little swing pass here, a couple missed tackles. I think that was a play that no, it was not the play Matt Culp got injured on, but it was a play that Andre Murphy was a little dinged up on.
Came out for a series and came back in later on.
Good defensive play by Scott Lansky.
Yeah, Murph's still a little foggy-headed yet yesterday. Talked to him yesterday, so he had a slight concussion.
Fish steps out, hits Roberts. That was on a 4th and 5. They pick up the first down. Good pressure, though, by John Wrench. On 2nd and 8. See a great defense play by Matt Culp. There's a strength right there.
Now Culp gets double teamed, comes through it, and gets a hold of Fish's jersey and pulls him down from behind.
Okay, finally get the offense moving the football here. Late first quarter, a great catch by Michael Tolbert, 20 yards on the slanting.
Yeah, we ran the slant and the out and some out and ups and things all day long on their man-to-man coverage.
We ran the middle screen a number of times, and it seemed to be open all day. Great block by Elijah, great block by Darrell Jackson, a crushing blow. And unfortunately, Michael gets caught from behind because you're unable to get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, and the very next play, we ran an option play down the 10-yard line, then we get an offensive interference call.
Here's the play offensive interference call.
Here, we changed quarters, obviously, in the field, and Scotty makes a great catch here. He's out of bounds, but they call a pick play on a number 1 receiver, which obviously was not the defensive guy made contact with us, but it hurt us there.
Great play on both ends after the Crusaders give it up. First the pressure by Zolvinsky, and a great play on the defensive back in the secondary by Ike Enigba.
Yeah, Ike's really starting to come around, doing a great job for us at free safety. He's just a freshman. He's a sophomore in school. He's just a freshman eligibility-wise. He's just starting to come along real well. As you see right here, he's making another play.
That was the play Matt Culp was injured on.
Yes. And of course they fumbled it and we got the recovery, but they said he was down.
So they come out on first down. Nice play by John Wrench, getting his hand on the football. That was on 1st and 10 though, but they're able to move it on down. Here's a key play in the drive. Fish delivers in the right spot. A rare play where you didn't have a lot of pressure on. Nice catch by Livers, and then just 2 plays later, Sal Pietro takes it in off the power eye, and they're on the board. Tony Sal Pietro, the guy who hurt Portage last year, playing for Castle in the state championship game, and seeing a lot of playing time as a freshman. They had a real good recruiting class, seems like.
Outstanding recruiting class. They had some freshmen that one was Defensive Player of the Week in the conference against us. Had 3 sacks and did a great job for him.
Valpo gets the ball back and again moves at 3rd and 5. The pass to Daryl Jackson stopped about a foot short. Coach's quarterback sneak on the quick count has been a successful play for you in recent weeks.
Yeah, Nick does a good job. We go first sound, we go second sound, we go first number, second number. So we change it up all the time, so they really never know when it's happening.
I like the throwback. Nice play here. You see the block out in front. Elijah back behind to help set it up by Fitzgerald. Throwback to the tight end Daryl Jackson. Nice little wrinkle you put in this week. And now the toss to Ozzie, who picks up big yard. You see the great speed. And Scott Heinrichs, great job downfield blocking.
Yeah, if he could stay down a half a second longer, we might have got a touchdown, but it's pretty tough to ask receivers to stay real long on his defensive backs passing lines.
And unfortunately, Nick hit from behind and fumble, again stopping a drive. So second straight possession, moved way downfield, but didn't get away. Yeah,
I mean, it's really not Nick's fault. He was waiting for a receiver to do a different route than what he did, and so that's partly Nick's fault. We lost the ball, but it's partly the receiver too.
Sacked by Chris Helton late first half, and Coach, unfortunately, you get the ball back with less than a minute to go because you really start moving the ball. Here's about a 17-yarder to Scott Hendricks. You come back the other way, and actually that was Scott's first catch of the day. He'd end up with 10 catches on the day. Here's the second. But he didn't get his first catch until the closing seconds of the first half. And there we go. Unfortunately, time ran out on the Crusaders, who again moved the ball well in the first half. The final 3 series, you moved downfield, but again, red zone problems, and there you are at halftime, 7-0.
Yeah, with the defense they were playing, it was really kind of goal line to goal line red zone because they were putting a high pressure defense on us all day long. So we were seeing the red zone all over the field, and you know, we threw our first pass to Heinrichs late in the second quarter. But however, you know, we tried and attempted earlier in that quarter, early in the first quarter too, to try and get him the ball, and we were just missing at that time.
All right, the Crusaders moving the football in the second half as well. Game got real exciting. Don't go anywhere. We'll check those second half highlights when we come back in a moment on Valparaiso University football.
Valparaiso University football is underwritten by the following. Signs on Time. Create signs in all sizes and materials. Special canvas banners, wood signs, plastic, metal, and magnetic. Indoors or outdoors, Signs on Time uses state-of-the-art materials including vinyl lettering. Signs on Time next to the patio in Maryville. 769-4488.
Mike's Sporting Goods, your team sports professional. Mike's has NFL and college team crews and jackets from Starter, Russell, and others. A great selection and Mike's great value. For your team sport needs, Mike's has it. Shoes from Nike, Reebok, Converse, plus uniforms, trophies, custom screen printing, school jackets, equipment, and more. Mike's Sporting Goods, Maryville, Crown Point, Hobart, and Michigan City.
Mancino's Pizza and Grinders, 706 and a half Lincoln Way in Valparaiso. Home of the hot sub sandwich, served on their very own bread made from scratch daily. Delivery available. 477-5610.
And by the financial support of viewers like you.
All right, Coach, what was going on at halftime? Down 7-0, despite you outgaining them, showing that you could move the football and the defense playing very well. That had to be what was frustrating, I guess.
The main thing is, with our style of offense, it's really difficult sometimes for us to assess what the defenses are going to play against us, because Evansville play a totally different defense than what they've played all year long because of the nature of our offense. However, our offensive staff guessed correctly, and the defense they showed us all week, the high pressure ones, but we repped all, 4 out of 5 plays in practice. We repped that defense, so we were ready for the defense. We just kept just missing.
So no reason to make any changes because you were right there.
The only adjustment we made was we left Darryl Jackson in for pass protection and wanted to throw the ball to wideouts or get Ozzie out there and throw it, make him the third receiver and leave Darryl and stay in and help out the offensive line.
Okay, Crusaders moved the ball throughout the second half. It was very late before they scored. Let's check those second half highlights, Coach. There's that middle screen to Tolbert, and boy, was it open pretty much all day. It's on second and very, very long, and he picks up about 25 yards.
Yeah, we ran it 5 times. Twice we overthrew Mike on the play, and 2 of those times would have been touchdowns if it had been more of an accurate pass.
Again, they sneak on 4th down. Nick takes it over for a 1st down. And they come out on the option.
Ozzie Young, the ball carrier, out near another.
And Ozzie has a good gain there, gains 9 yards. Good block by Tolbert downfield.
Swing pass, and see how he makes the first guy miss.
Yeah, the guy, number 13, defensive player of the week, ran him down from behind, otherwise that's a touchdown.
There's the swing to Ozzie coming to the near side. Watch the missed tackle, great job breaking 2 tackles, and they needed to get the 1st down.
Yeah, great job of balance. Ozzie's got unbelievable balance. Here we got it. We end up getting stopped and punting.
And it appears like maybe Kevin Jennings got it going in the second half.
Well, he got one out on the 1-yard line. Later on, he gets one out on the 4-yard line. So we always talk about these kind of cold, chilly days, field position being critical, and it definitely was.
But unfortunately, they get out of the shadow of their own goal line. And on the pass to Nate Kukla, the tight end out of LaPorte, just a freshman.
Yeah, they got called for holding there, too, so we pushed them back a little bit with that play.
Yeah, flag downfield. Come out on the draw, and boy, John Harrington seemed to be around the football throughout the ballgame.
And John's been playing real well. I think that's the way he expects to play. We moved him back to the weak side defensive end spot he was at last year, so he's gotten better since we've done that.
This Sal Pietro is going to be a real good player.
Oh, he's an outstanding player, and just a freshman. All their backs are freshmen.
See some good coverage here by Scott Latsky. Nice play, coach, on 3rd down, forces the punt.
Yeah, we had outstanding pass coverage on Saturday.
Not actually a punt, it's a fake punt. Watch, he's about to get the 1st down, and Ozzie comes in and sticks him just as Duncan was falling forward for the 1st down.
Yeah, pound for pound, Ozzie Young will hit you as hard as anybody you've been hit by on a football field.
And again, here you are up top, Michael Tolbert, big gainer.
Now, those types of routes we were calling all day long. Sometimes we had time to throw them, sometimes we didn't. When we connected, we gained a bunch of yardage.
Another nice job by Jennings. Punt hits about the 8, angles out just inside the 5-yard line. So maybe those punting problems are solved, Coach. Let's hope so. You get a near safety here, which actually could have been the difference. If you could have got the 2, nice play by Saul Shahid, reading the little swing pass. Dangerous play on your own goal line.
Absolutely. That kind of play or a draw or screen in your own end zone is probably not. Maybe they're thinking of the surprise element, didn't think it would be called.
Excellent play there by Andre Murphy on the pass to Woodward. We go to the 4th quarter now, Coach. And Josh Burning slows it up, and then Andre Murphy makes the big hit.
Andre Murphy had an outstanding game. He's come back here now and played a great game despite getting knocked out in the 1st half.
3rd and 3, Coach. It's a big play because you stop him. Harrington, the 1st man there. Adam Zolvinsky helped slow it up just about a yard shy of the 1st down. That forces the punt. He went backwards after a sack, and on 3rd and 20, you get nearly 6 here.
Now, Scott Heinrich has an unbelievable knack to getting open. I mean, that's not the route called there. He just makes a move one way and heads down the seam, and Nick picked him up.
Cameron Hatton hits this one pretty well into a slight wind, but you see he just pushes it wide right.
And again, another one that had been a difference in the ball game, of course.
Well, Coach, you do a good job holding him defensively, and then Ozzie Young nearly breaks it. Unfortunately, they call you for an illegal block back at midfield, and that costs you 20 yards.
Here we start on 40, which is still decent field position.
You see the great effort by Nick, and then the pitch. Beautifully done. Gets you all the way down to the 40-yard line. But unfortunately, on 3rd and 10, this ball flutters a little bit, and a nice play. The defensive back Gardner reacts well and gets the football.
Yeah, Scotty did a great job. He was open. Just took too long to get the ball in the air.
So defense has to stop him. Same series now. On 2nd and 3, good play by Josh Burring. That forced 3rd down, and then the defense held on an incomplete pass, forces the punt. And Shahan's boots it. It's a beautiful punt. I'm not sure if they actually were able to down it before it went in. I think somebody might have touched it while being in the end zone, but very close, and you're looking at 99 yards right now.
Well, you and I saw it, and he was in the end zone.
They stop you. You get the defense back on the field. John Harrington makes a big play on 2nd and long, forces 3rd and long. They punt the ball. Now you face 3rd and long. And Coach, this is really your last chance. Final minutes of the game. And on 3rd and 21, you get 22.
Yeah, it's the exact same play that Nick threw the interception on a few plays ago that we saw already.
Hendricks catches 7 balls on this drive. Incredible. Have you ever seen a receiver catch 7 balls on one drive in the final minute and a half of the game? You see 91 seconds left. Great diving catch on 3rd down for the 1st down. Gets you out to the 43. Down near the minute mark here. 3rd and 11. And you pick up 14. So 3rd straight 3rd down conversion by Scott Hendricks. You come out on the very next play, the out and up, and Scott makes the catch for 23 yards. Nearly got into the, nearly would have gone to the distance. Next play, you run the slant in. And this one worked. Look at the great effort here, all the way down to the 4-yard line. Just great effort.
Fighting his tail off to get in the end zone. Just outstanding effort by Scott Hendricks.
29 seconds to go. 1st and goal at the 4. He faked the fade and then came back to the pylon. Well done for a touchdown. 23 seconds to go. What an incredible drive. So you go for the win, 23 seconds to go, you go for the win, you run the same play, and the ball may be thrown a half second too late, and Miller reacts in time to knock it away.
Yeah, we just either throw it, get the ball in there a little bit sooner there, and we would have had it because there was separation. We had him open again, and of course we had that DB a little bit worn out. We were trying to throw back at him again.
So the onside kick is recovered, and there's that unfortunate final score. Crusaders, what an effort. 360 yards passing. The final score shows Evansville 7 and Valparaiso 6. Ouch. Let's take a look at the final stats, and we'll see that Valparaiso pretty much controlled things. That minus 30 rushing is because you lost 86 yards with sacks and losing running plays, but 360 yards through the air, an incredible amount to lose a football game.
Yeah, and you saw 3 or 4 or 5 of the passes we just missed on long plays, or that could have been a 450-yard, 500-yard stat.
Coach, anything that's troubling there, bothersome, I guess? Again, 7 more penalties, not a huge number, but I know you'd like to cut down on that. I know last year you were able to run the ball so effectively against Evansville, but this year they almost forced you into putting 8 men up the line, forced you to throw.
Yeah, well, they ran the same defense they ran against us last year. Of course, they didn't do it quite the same. We expected to see this defense, but we expected to make some changes, and the changes they made in it, we had planned for and practiced during the week. We just did not make the big plays when we needed to make them and execute when we had to execute.
And I guess
just missed at times.
Similar to Drake, they just didn't turn the ball over.
Right, and we turned it over twice.
And they did a great job of holding on to the ball. Let's see those other scores from around the conference from Saturday. The big ball game went to Drake.
Drake did a great job, and really the score is probably not as closer than the game really indicated. I mean, Drake really kind of kicked their fannies around the field a little bit and did a great job against Dayton. What
an impressive performance. 34-23 for Drake. And Thomas More, Butler less. I guess Thomas More now 7-0 on the year, and Butler's slide continues, right?
Yeah, I think Thomas More scored 3 touchdowns in the last 11 minutes of the game.
Right. Right. In fact, Butler led throughout much of that ball game. So how does that? One more. Let's not forget San Diego, way out west, falling to Redlands. They're in something like the California Intercollegiate Athletic Conference or something like that. But San Diego fell, and I think San Diego had a 4-game win streak going into that ball game.
Oh, yes, they did. And during that win streak, they had beaten Evansville and ourselves. So they kind of brought things back after losing some talented people in the offseason. They've been playing pretty well of late.
Okay, how do the conference standings shape up now? Well, Drake clinches at least the share of the conference title, and they're obviously 1 victory away from winning it outright.
I think they're hoping we knock off Dayton this week, but it's really in their hands. They play San Diego out at San Diego, and I'm sure Drake won't have any problem with San Diego.
Really? Because even out there?
even out there.
Even out there, because Drake is playing very well. And ironically enough, maybe, you know, their toughest half in the conference came that second half at Brown Field. You guys outplayed them that second half.
Yeah, I think if they go to the end of the season, figure what the toughest game of the year was, it's probably Valparaiso.
Okay, there you see those numbers right now overall, with Valparaiso at 1-3 and going to Dayton on Saturday, a game we'll touch on coming up. But first, though, let's welcome in our guest today. He is Eric Miller, the standout defensive tackle for the VU Crusaders, the former Whiting Oiler, who has bounced around a couple different positions. And now in your senior year, Eric, you feel comfortable at defensive tackle?
Definitely. I definitely do. I played it last year, and I really like the position. I feel real comfortable there.
Coming from Whiting, a small school, you got a chance probably to play a lot of different positions in high school. Often, you go to a small school, you got to play both ways. Right?
I don't think I ever came off the field at Whiting. You know, special teams, offense, defense, always out there. But I liked coming to Valpo, and I like the position I'm playing at now. I like defensive line.
Coach, when you saw the films on Eric out of high school, you know, sometimes out of a small school, you wonder how good they're going to react on the collegiate level. What did you like about him? Which position did you see him at when you saw him in high school?
Well, you know, as old as Eric is, that was a long, long time ago when we recruited Eric. He's a fifth-year senior, was redshirted. He had a bad ankle one year, and so we got a medical redshirt for him. And we're glad he's still here this year. He's a stalwart of our defensive line, kind of the anchor up there. He's a team captain. The things we liked about him out of high school was his work ethic, and in the weight room, you know, his coach talked about how hard he worked in the weight room and in other areas other than just on the football field, and that's really a key.
Okay. Eric, why stay close to home? I'm sure you had some other options. Why close to home?
Yeah, first of all, the academics at Valpo played a lot with that. You know, it's a great academic school. I know I'm going to get a good education and be able to play the sport I love, which is football. And I mean, you can't ask for more than that. Close to home, 40 minutes away. My parents can make every game. I mean, you can't beat that.
See Eric's versatility. Let's take a look. Eric, you guys did a good job stopping their run. They ran the draw a few times. That seems to be a popular running play in a passing offense. They'll run the draw. Tell us what you see here. This is early in the game on third down. Their tendencies on third down almost always to throw. They run the draw, and you appear to read it well.
Yeah, the block that I got was, he fired out hard and was trying to turn me, so naturally what Coach Dawson teaches us is that if they're trying to turn you, it's going to be they're trying to run a draw, try to get a running lane for them. So you just fight there, and the ball came right to where I was at, and it was really simple after that. I just laid the hit on him, and that was it.
How frustrating has it been for your ball club in these 3 conference games where you have at least played even, or in some ways outplayed your opponents, yet the 3 conference games that you've lost, obviously as frustrating as games as you've been involved in?
Yeah, it's tough. Just on the ride over here, Coach and I were talking that these past 2 games, it's a total of 10 points. We score, if we stop them, we're playing for maybe a piece of the conference championship right now.
Do you feel like the defense, though, came into its own against Drake in the second half? Did something happen in that second half that you felt the defense had just suddenly stepped up?
I think you know, it's taken us a while to start to believe in each other. And we started believing, we came together as a unit, as a team, and we said this is what we got to do, and we started doing it. And it just started to carry over to Evansville, and hopefully it'll carry over to Dayton.
Okay, big test for you. You mentioned Dayton. Yeah. Let's take a look at what's ahead. Well, it's a tough one, Coach, right? It's never easy going to Dayton. They've only won 72 out of their last 73 at home, and they may be a little angry after losing to Drake on Saturday.
Well, I think they're due for a loss at home, aren't they, Todd? That's the way I look at it. And you know, I don't know how angry they are. I think they just come to play every week like we do and see what happens.
Do you think, Eric, it helps in any way that they got beat by Drake? Does that install some confidence in you guys?
No, I think we as a team just have to believe that we can beat them. You know, them losing to Drake or they beat Drake. We just have to believe in ourselves that we can beat this team. And you know, the season has been a little disappointing, but that would really help out to go into Dayton. And to beat Dayton at Dayton would be.
Coach, this could make the season, right? Their quarterback, Brian Cadell, boy, he has had a great season. What problems does he pose?
Well, he poses the same kind of problems for a defensive coordinator and defense that Nick Browder does. He can run, he can throw. He's a very efficient quarterback. They run some option. The fans that are going to be at the game at Dayton on Saturday are going to see the top 2 quarterbacks in the league. It should be a treat for them, and maybe a gray hair for the defensive coordinators, but it'll be a treat for the fans.
Okay, let's check those other games. It's intra-division games this week. Boy, big battle down in the southern part of the state between rivals Butler and Evansville. Butler's had a rough season, but they still have Arnold Mickens, and they scored 29 points against Thomas More. It's a pretty good performance. Both teams narrow losses this year to Thomas More. Toss-up game there?
It's a toss-up game. It depends on how well Butler can run the ball with Mickens. If they control the ball and keep it away from Fish, because Butler's pass coverage is certainly very, very suspect, and if Fish gets going, you never can tell what might happen.
We've already heard you like Drake, even though the game's at San Diego. Talent-wise, Drake has a definite edge there, but San Diego's been winning some tight ball games.
Yeah, San Diego's leading the conference in turnover margin. That's the really big thing. We looked at the St. Louis Rams earlier in the year, the turnover margin they had, and that was why they were winning, and that's why San Diego's staying in the ball games and winning in the end.
Okay, how about your biggest key on Saturday at Dayton?
Our biggest key will be able to contain their quarterback. And I'm sure Dayton is saying the same thing, containing our quarterback. So that'll be a big key. Dayton's offense is it's the best one I've ever seen, but their defense is not as good as they have been in the past. They're not bad, but it's not as good as they've been in the past. So it may be an offensive show. We'll see. I'm excited to see what our defense can do now that they've been playing well the last 2-3 weeks, and they're starting to come together and gel real good. And offense scores the points, defense and special teams wins games. Okay, best of luck goes out to the coach and Eric Miller. Thanks for coming out, Eric, the former Whiting Oiler, joining us here. We thank Coach Tom Horne. We thank you for joining us. We'll see you same time next week right here on Valparaiso University Football.